Hey, it's Bree here, the registered nurse and certified health coach of hippydippymom.com. I'm here to help you have more energy, be the happy mom that you've always dreamed of being while also raising healthy kids. So, today's topic is all about three things that are contributing to your brain fog. There are, of course, many things that can contribute, just as with any other symptoms or issues that we're experiencing. It is rarely ever just one thing, right? But I wanted to break it down into three things, some that you can start to gain control over right now, and then something else that you can start to work on, but will take a little while to repair and to heal. So let's get into it. I do want to share that these three things definitely had a huge impact on not only my brain fog, but I've shared many different times that I have also suffered from depression and anxiety and migraines. I was bloated and gassy every day after every single meal. And so these three things contributed to all of that. I'm going to lump the first two things together because I kind of consider them to be in the same category and they tend to have similar effects on our body, so these two things are sugar and toxins. I'm lumping them together because I consider sugar to be a toxin, right? It is. Sorry if that hurts your feelings if you have a sweet tooth like I used to, and people would tell me bad things about sugar. I'd be like, no, not my sugar. So first, I do consider, like I said, sugar to be one of the worst toxins out there for a couple different reasons. So it's everywhere. It's not just in sweets, how, a lot of us think that that's where sugar is, but I mean, it's in salad dressing, it's in sauces, it's in green salsa of all things, it's in chicken broth, it's everywhere. It's very easy to get and it's super cheap. So this is why I consider it, and it wreaks havoc on our body, on our health. So this is why I consider it to be one of the top toxins, right? That we have control over. So second, sugar and toxins basically have like a stacking effect. So if you're just having a little bit of sugar here and there, or you're exposed to just, a few toxins here and there, maybe, I don't know, you go on vacation and use like one of the little hotel lotions or something, right? That's not going to harm you just from that one time little use. But what's happening is that's not how most of us are living. Most of us are eating sugar at every meal, maybe with snacks too, with our drinks. We're using toxic lotion and soap and makeup and breathing in all the toxic air and on and on and on. So all these little exposures add up over time, which is where we see all these issues with our health, which is where we start to experience brain fog. So that is definitely where these issues start to come in. Our body is built naturally to detox, and I've talked about this previously, that the number one way to detox is just to support our body's natural ability and to decrease how many toxins we're exposing ourselves to, because the issues are coming up because our body just can't keep up with how many toxins we're exposing ourselves to. So our body's working so hard to try to get all this stuff out of us, but we just keep piling it on and in. And I mean, is it really any wonder that our bodies are malfunctioning, that we're tired? Our bodies are working so hard all the time. So just remember that every little exposure does matter, because we have all these little exposures day after day after day after day, meal after meal, all these things, and they add up. So still with sugar, why it's in everything is because the food industry knows that our taste buds are drawn to things that are sweet. When we had our ancestors way back in the day that would hunt and gather, as they were picking like berries and stuff, if a berry was very sour, they knew it either wasn't ripe or maybe it was poisonous. If it was sweet, then it was good, good for them to eat. So our taste buds are just drawn to sugar, so it's in everything. What counts as sugar? There's, of course, a lot of misinformation out there about what counts as sugar. I used to feel better eating like raw sugar or organic sugar, or loading in lots of like honey or syrup because it's natural. That's all sugar. So sugar is the refined sugar, the organic sugar, raw sugar, honey, syrup, juice. Juice is sugar. When you take the fiber and everything out of, away from the fruit, and all you have left is the juice, that's sugar water. But the tricky thing is that when you're looking on food labels, some of those things aren't considered added sugar. So I've shared, the numbers that we need to be paying attention to for how much sugar we're consuming in a day, and I'll share that again in a second. But what's tricky is on labels, juice and honey and syrup are not considered added sugar. So if you're looking at the label and you see that, amount, those grams of sugar, but then you look on the ingredients and you see those ingredients, know that there's actually more sugar. So the numbers for the recommended daily amount of added sugar for an adult woman is 25 grams in a day. So now you can start to look at labels and really at first see how much you're consuming, because it can be pretty shocking. I was very shocked at how much sugar I was consuming when I started to pay attention. For an adult male is 36 grams in a day, and for kids is 11 grams, less for younger kids, more for older kids. So 11 is like middle-aged kids. So sugar and toxins are, well, let me go into what toxins I'm talking about. So I kind of mentioned it a little bit. It could be like our lotions, our makeup. The paint on our walls is constantly emitting toxins, but there are better paint options out there now. So that's kind of an easy fix. But I like to focus on even easier things that we can change like right now without spending a ton of money. So lotion, skincare products, beauty products, cleaning products, and of course the toxins in our food. So the sugar and the toxins are contributing to inflammation, to nutrient deficiency. They just invade our cells, and they activate an immune response. So we see poor immune systems and autoimmune disease. And so while I focus on helping you conquer your brain fog, so myself, so many times my clients often experience other benefits, because what's causing brain fog is also causing other things, or if it's not yet, it will. So I mentioned inflammation. There's different kinds of inflammation. So there's acute inflammation. So like right now, I have a pimple. My daughter's 7. She always gets owies and bruises. Those kinds of things trigger acute inflammation, something that's just happening right now. It's temporary. It's helping our body heal. We want that kind of inflammation. That is very good inflammation. The problems start to happen when we have chronic systemic inflammation. So we don't have an injury or anything we don't have an injury. So, nothing that's like outwardly apparent that's causing our inflammation. What's happening is our body, like I said, is just working really, really hard to detox us, to heal us, and we're just experiencing inflammation through majority of our body for a really long period of time. So this is the type of inflammation that causes health issues, whether it's brain fog or cholesterol issues, cardiovascular issues. There's just inflammation is the root of many, many, many health issues. So we want to avoid the chronic systemic inflammation, which is what we're going to do when we're tackling these things that I'm talking about today. Sugar, toxins, and inflammation contribute to the next thing I'm going to be talking about. But let me know first if you feel like sugar is a problem for you. I feel like it's a problem for a lot of people. And again, we're kind of hesitant to admit to it. I was too. I loved my sugar. I still, have a sweet tooth. I still love sugar. But knowing what effect it has on my body and really paying attention to how I feel after I consume sugar, it's easier for me to stay away from it because I don't want to feel those things anymore. So let me know in the comments if you feel like sugar is a problem for you, or take a screenshot of you watching or listening to this, and then tag me at Hippy Dippy Mom. So the third thing I'm going to be talking about is poor gut health. I'm not going to go too much into it because just last week I talked about the gut and brain connection, where I went into detail about that connection and about how poor gut health is affecting our brain. So again, specifically brain fog. We can know that there is a gut health component. As I mentioned last week, I'm reading this book still because it's a huge book, but it's called Why Isn't My Brain Working? And one thing he mentions in there is that the first sign of poor brain health is poor digestion. So again, if we're experiencing that bloating or the gas or anything abnormal with our digestion, that's a sign that poor brain health is on the way if we're not correcting that. So, but what I want to talk about with gut health today is that there's a cycle that starts to happen. I mentioned that sugar and toxins and inflammation can contribute to poor gut health. And then what happens is we start to get leaky gut, meaning like food particles and things that are not supposed to be leaking out of our gut into our system are leaking out. And then that's causing inflammation. And then that's causing an overgrowth of bad bacteria in our gut, which feed off of sugar. So sometimes when we're craving sugar, it's not, I used to be really hard on myself, like, oh my God, why can't I just not crave this? This is something like I'm doing something wrong. And a lot of times it's because of these bad bacteria sending signals straight to our brain to give me sugar. And it literally just takes control. And so here's the cycle, sugar and toxins and inflammation contribute to poor gut health, which leads to more inflammation and sugar cravings. And here we go, just round and around and around down this spiral, because it's going to make things worse and worse and worse if we're not conscious of it, we're not aware of it, and then we don't make a very, specific effort to break that cycle. That's what you're going to do after you watch this today. Make that specific effort to break it, right? So, our body's designed to prevent all disease, and then should disease or illness start to happen, our body is designed to heal it. Well, these things, sugar, toxins, and poor gut health, like I said, create inflammation, but then just at our basic level of cell functioning, it inhibits that. It alters it in some way. It makes it malfunction. So, of course, we're going to be seeing and experiencing and feeling things we don't want to and we shouldn't be. So like I said, our body is designed to prevent things and then to heal. Our body basically is designed to be healthy, and anything other than healthy is abnormal. And so I kind of want to give like my base definition of what healthy is. I know we all have our own definitions of what health means to us and, how we would like to be healthy. So, feel free to share that too. I'd love to know what your definition of healthy is. But basically for me, it means that we have sustainable energy every day, that we're rarely sick in any way, shape, or form. Because again, sick can mean different things to many people, but we rarely get sick in any way, shape, or form. We're the weight that is the right weight for our body, and we're happy. So that to me is just kind of the basic definition of healthy. Let me know too if this is making sense to you. Take a quick screenshot and again, tag me at Hippy Dippy Mom. So, I mentioned we're going to make a very specific effort to break this cycle. How the heck do we do that, right? First things first is we have to start listening to our body again. This is something that I feel like we've been told from many different sources over many different years, basically not to do, and not in a direct way, like don't listen to your body. But really, it's more like you don't know what you're talking about because you're not an expert, because you haven't gone to school, because you don't have a degree, and listen to the people that have gone to school and do have degrees because they know best. Yes and no. They don't know you better than you know you and your family. So start to listen again to your body. And how we do that, the easiest way I found is to journal. So journal what you're eating, what you're drinking, and be really honest. This is just for you, so be really honest. So journal what you're eating, what you're drinking, how you're feeling physically and emotionally, and this and every day. So again, everything you're eating and drinking, and then every day, how you're feeling physically and emotionally. And you're going to start to connect dots on, okay, I ate this thing today or drink this thing today. And then every single time I eat or drink that thing, 30 minutes later, I notice this. Or 3 days later, I notice this. So it's got to be that thing. And then eliminate it and see if you stop experiencing whatever you're experiencing as a result. So start to journal. That's a super easy way to start to connect the dots and listen to your body again. So I mentioned the numbers for how much added sugar we should be having, kids, women, and men. So start to pay attention. If you're not looking at that number on labels, and again, it's just added sugar. So whole fruit doesn't count in this number. It's just added sugar. So just start to pay attention. And again, as you're journaling, you're going to start to know how sugar is affecting you. Now I know if I have sugar today, tomorrow I'm going to be a cranky woman, and I'm not going to like myself, and I'm not going to like anybody around me for no other reason than I had sugar yesterday. So, that's a horrible feeling. And that's a part of brain fog. I used to have that feeling every day. I would snap at my husband and my daughter, not for anything that they were doing, just because my brain wasn't functioning properly enough for me to not be irritated with them. And then I felt like a horrible human being for doing that. So it's such a great feeling to not do that anymore. And it's, in those times when you're craving sugar and you think about stuff like that, it is a great motivator to not have sugar. It really is. It gets easier, I promise. So the third thing that you can do to start to break this cycle is start to reduce the amount of toxins that you're exposed to. So I have a 10-day challenge that's all about busting through your brain fog. I go into more detail about these 3 things plus more things that are contributing to brain fog that we can start to get a handle on now. So you can go to hippydippymom.com/bust brain fog, and I'll put the link in the comments as well. But if you know right now that you're so ready to conquer brain fog, you're tired of being tired and cranky and feeling hopeless, like these are all things that you just have to deal with and struggle through, please schedule your free call with me and we will start to get you on track to having energy, to being happy, being the mom that you always thought you'd be before you became a mom and started having brain fog and all these other issues, right? And we'll get you on track for that, and you'll start to feel amazing and see that it is possible to have all those positive things, thinking clearly and energy. And I'll put the link to my scheduler in the comments as well, so you can get started with that. Remember, as we know better, we do better. Please take care, friend. See ya.